What's up YouTube? We have a Division 2 build video today and we'll be sharing our casual solo skill sniper turret build that we've been using to get through all types of content in Division 2 since Warlords of New York expansion launched. It's a pretty decent build and can take on difficulties from story mode up to challenge, and while heroic difficulty can be doable, it's very hard for the turret skill to survive the damage at that tier, so I wouldn't recommend it. This build uses a 4-piece hardwired set. Yes, I know some pieces are bugged right now, but oh well. And we're using it for the feedback loop effect, and it has the Acosta's Go Back exotic for the overcharged talent. You can also use the BDSU gloves if you have that instead, plus the additional stuff doesn't hurt. And the final gear slot can be anything you want really to further optimize what you're trying to do. So for the skills, obviously you want the sniper turret, and I pair it with the healing hive placed right next to it for best effect. For weapons, you'll be hitting really soft anyway because all your attributes in your gear are going into skill tier and not much else, so really just equip whatever guns are your favorite to use. I'd recommend a nice rifle, which helps you with the sniper turret aim for headshots, and use a shotgun for those elites that rush you. It's not the best solo build, best solo turret build out there, but it works, and not hard to get the stuff really. I'll get into the full build tour at the end of the video, so let's see it in some action, starting with the shooting range. Dropping the turret down alongside your hive, use a grenade to get the overcharged talent on your backpack to go off. The backpack gives you extra slots for grenades and armor kits as well, which is nice, and alternatively, if you have the exotic BDSU gloves, that works too. Where can you get this backpack? The Acosta's exotic, it drops from any faction cache or crates really on the open world. Any faction at all. From hyenas to true sons, whatever. If you find a faction crate, use some keys, open it, and if your RNG is good, you'll get it. Now, overcharge, once you have it, can be tricky to get, especially if your grenade has a very small radius. So I recommend using something like the EMP. Whatever grenade works, so don't worry about it. And getting overcharged will give you that massive damage head start when opening fire on like stationary enemies that are clustered together. Simply aim for the head and hit your skill fire button and make the turret shoot. On normal and hard difficulties, this is pretty much a one-shot, one-kill on purples and below. In a live mission or open world environment, make sure you get your turret placement right. Preferably put it somewhere higher so you don't have line of sight issues. On challenge difficulties, enemies are always going to be moving around, so aiming can get trickier. But the build is all about timing and patience, so take your time and snipe them off one by one. Putting the hive close to the turret also heals it, so keep that in mind. Now, since the latest patch, the turret seems to have been nerfed somewhat, a little bit, with it now taking a lot more damage than before, I've noticed, but its damage output hasn't been impacted that much. It still works. Alright, so let's get to the gear now. Let's take a look first of all at the gear set, which is of course hardwired. Let's start with the mask. Well, all you gotta do is just put some skill haste or skill damage on it, and feedback loop is of course the set's talent, which is what you want because it refreshes the turret, which is already pretty fast at 9 seconds. For the vest slot, now this is bugged. The positive reinforcement talent is bugged. Doesn't matter though, I haven't found anything else, so again I'm just gonna put a skill haste on it in terms of a mod slot. But if you have anything else in your inventory that offers the same really, then you can just put it on. Holster also hardwired from the same set. Now this one of course doesn't have any mod slots or whatever, so I'm just bumping up skill haste. Still can be improved. For the knee, again hardwired pretty much. I couldn't find haste on there, so I just put repair skill, but whatever works really. Now the glove slot can be anything you want, of course. I've got one for armor on there, but if you have something else that could maybe give you skill health or crit chance, you know, play around with it. It's not fully optimized, but for right now it pretty much works. Hardwired, again, 5 pieces doesn't really do anything for you, so 4 pieces would be enough. Now for the backpack, very important here, Acosta's Go Bag, which is the exotic of course, and this one gives you the one in hand for the overcharge, plus you get the extra capacity for armor kits and whatnot. Now if you can't find this exotic bag, you can also use the BDSU gloves. For weapons on the sidearm, again, whatever works for you. I picked a shotgun just in case anybody want to come close. As for primary and secondary weapons, whatever rocks your boat really. I went for rifles, but you can pretty much do anything you want because you're going to be hitting like wet tissue paper, as I said, and you're not going to be doing a whole lot of weapon damage, so go for something that will help you aim and pretty much what you want. So for stats, again, that's your weapon damage right there, and it's honestly not built for you to run and gun. This is not that type of build from a solo player perspective. You can take your time, place down the turret, and go from there. Now again, hardwired pieces, where can you find them? Like, I think before TU8 there was a project that let you turn in for some blueprints for hardware. Now if you don't have that project, I can't help you. I don't know where to get it. Now let's take a look at the skill haste here for my turret. 102.8%, which is pretty fast, which means my cooldown is 9.2 seconds. So if it gets destroyed or you need to take it off, you can get it back really quickly. It's got 5 million health, not that great, but it does 2 million damage. So there are things, of course, you can use to bump that up a little bit, like the mod slots for the turret itself. Pretty much same for the hive, really. And again, you can substitute the hive for anything else that you want, but the hive, I find, the healing one at least, heals the turret as well as yourself. So if you stick close by, you're pretty okay. So that's the build in a nutshell, you guys. Using this one, you can pretty much casually play solo through a lot of the game's content up till challenge difficulty, but it's going to be a lot slower than your typical run and gun crit builds. So that's up to you. If you have any suggestions to improve the build, post them in the comments, or if you have another build that you'd like to share, also put them in the comments. We'll check it out. That's it from us here at MMOS World. Hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and check us out on mmosworld.com. Take care.